told us in your word, Father, that the voice of the Lord makes the deer give birth. The voice of the Lord strips the forest bare. And everyone in the temple cries, glory. You remember Wilberforce, right? Decade after decade until he won the victory in the abolition of the slave trade in Britain. One of his enemies said about him, "It is necessary to watch him, as he is blessed with a very sufficient quantity of that enthusiastic spirit, which so far from yielding that it grows more vigorous from blows." In other words, knock him down and he gets up stronger. There are not many people like that in America. You knock a typical American down, what does he do? Number one, he feels self-pity and he whines. Number two, he says, "Where was God?" And number three, he sues somebody. There are not many people like Wilberforce who you knock them down in a cause of righteousness, they're doing good, and they get knocked down, they get up. I don't want to be a sprinter. I want to be a marathoner. I want to find the pace to finish the race. I don't want to drop over halfway through the cause and coast the rest of the way or just play. And you don't either. We want to be coronary, marathon, Wilberforce-like Christians. If you're going to be that kind of person who gets up when you're knocked down, instead of planning revenge, plans fresh strategies of love and justice. Instead of questioning God, you trust God, that He had a good purpose in your getting knocked down, and He loves you, and He'll turn it all for your good. Instead of whining, you rejoice in tribulation, come out refined like steel, instead of consumed. If you're going to be that kind of person, this text says you have to learn a certain skill, namely how to kill sin. Your sin. Self-pity, pride, grudge-holding, loving the praise of man. So if we're going to be coronary Christians, we're going to press on in love and joy, where does that kind of person come from? They don't come out of nowhere. Wilberforces do not come out of nowhere. You know where they come from? They come from furnaces where they've been knocked down and burned so many times that they've learned how to make war on the sins in their own heart that tend to rise up in response to that kind of treatment. The furnaces from which Wilberforce-like Christians come is the furnace of war against sin fought mainly in our own soul.
Pray comfort. I'm Jewish, and I'm deeply concerned that a generation is forgetting one of the greatest tragedies in the history of the human race. Adolf Hitler sanctioned the murder of 11 million people, including 6 million Jews, through what's commonly called the Holocaust. Living Waters is committed to keeping the cost of all our resources and training tools as affordable as feasible, and your support makes that possible. We can't thank you enough for your prayers and financial support.
And your support is making it possible for us to greatly expand our Spanish language outreach. Thanks to you, we're now reaching Spanish-speaking people around the world with a vast assortment of newly translated resources, including the Way of the Master TV series. Please visit our Spanish website for details. Just click on the Espanol link at livingwaters.com.
Your support also made it possible for us to launch On the Box earlier this year. This new internet program has developed a significant following and is inspiring and equipping saints around the world to share their faith.
And of course, the response to 180 has been tremendous.
We're quickly approaching 2 million views on YouTube, have sold or given away over 500,000 DVDs, and 180 has generated a tremendous amount of media coverage.
Most importantly, we receive multiple messages every week from people who tell us about babies who've been saved from an abortion, or new believers in Christ as a result of the gospel presentation in 180. We've posted many of these messages at heartchanger.com so you too can read them and be inspired by what God has done through 180.
Living Waters remains focused on the reason we exist, to rescue the perishing. From our weekly open-air preaching and hunting the beach to the development of new training tools and the expansion of our free resources, we remain committed to our mission, inspiring and equipping Christians and fulfilling the Great Commission. We're so very grateful for your partnership in this effort. None of this would be possible without you. Although a percentage of our support is derived from the sales of our resources, we depend heavily on gifts from individuals like you to sustain and, God willing, expand the ministry.
God has blessed this ministry abundantly. At a time when much of the country is struggling economically and many ministries are scaling back, we're so grateful to be able to continue our efforts through the generous giving of those He leads to support us. Please pray about how you might partner with us. And if you are led to help, please visit the partner page at livingwaters.com.
Thank you. We give thanks to God always for all of you.
God bless you.